Hey, Vanna. Hey, Straight Goat. Hey, Comic Brook. Hey, Jordan. The court's almost all here. Hey, Uncle Bucks. You don't like this game? We haven't even started the game, Jordan. How do you already not like it? We haven't even started. All we've got so far is this music, which I think is actually pretty good. I like this music. That said, turn it down just a little bit. May as well say it now. Wait, how do I back out of here? I don't know how to back out. I said Blessed Thursday to everyone, especially the insurance CEO assassin. Okay, I genuinely, I'm not sure how to back out of it. You are absolutely right, Comic Brook. Has a statement been released on the state of his coverage? Masks on to pay respect. Indeed. It's not... Jesus Christ, like, why isn't it... Genuinely, why isn't it... Yeah, game's being... Fucking... Streamlabs is being weird with this one. This game's just being really fucking weird. So that third post about him smiling with his mask off, and honestly, I like our culture. Someone went broke trying to save a dying family member? Probably. Yeah, probably someone who, who got fucked over by the insurance companies. I like to think it was an employee. Yeah, who was probably also fucked over by them. But yeah, it was almost certainly someone who was fucked over by that insurance company, which probably narrows it down to anyone who has ever used them. This photo is now everywhere, but he's cute. Completely unaffiliated anarchist rebel. He sought this man because he just thought he should. Yeah. May he wake up promptly while in surgery after the anesthesia quota runs out. Yeah, because the U.S. health insurance system is utterly fucking insane. Apparently that United has an AI. It brought in an AI that was denying like 90% of claims. And like, they're like, oh, it wasn't working properly. It's like, no, it was working exactly how you wanted it to. Frankly, the only problem with it, I'm pretty sure the only problem with it from United's standpoint is that it wasn't denying 100% of claims. That 10% of claims were actually being approved by the AI. But what's truly fucked up about that murder, about that assassination, what's truly fucked up about the assassination, is that it won't actually change anything. Like, all those insurance company CEOs, they're gonna start spending more money on security. Probably pass on the cost to the consumers. Like, I would not be at all surprised if a lot of insurance companies started raising costs and deductibles and shit in order to pay for security for their for the executives, for the CEOs. A foreskin affair. Instead of actually, like, doing something that actually helps people. Because insurance companies are just incapable of doing anything that is beneficial to anyone who isn't a stockholder. Anyway, on a completely different note, 100% different note. I got my groceries today. I got my Goshis today. And the cashier is so fucking weird when it comes to how she scans vegetables. Like, you know, when you're going through with vegetables, you just, like, you know, they put the vegetables on the scale, tap in the numbers, move them aside. This one does them one at a time. This lady does the vegetables one at a time. Like, I've never seen another cashier do it. And it's like, lady, you can charge me the cost of the... Like, you don't have to do them one at a time. You can do, like, it's 2 onions. You can just put both, like, you can just, like, they're in the bag. Like, I've got the little plastic bag that you put the vegetables in. You can just put them both on there at the same time. Like, I don't... like, it's baffling to me every time she does it. It's like, why? Why are you doing it that way? You actually eat vegetables? Onions and green peppers for my, autism. I have autism, and I'm smart enough to realize, hey, thunk, 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 thunk. Like, it's not an autism. Like, it's absolutely not an autism thing. It's just... It's like... Feel free to charge me for whatever air is in that plastic bag. I don't... Just... You don't need to do them one at a fucking time. Hey, Nancy. It is the weirdest fucking thing I have ever seen a cashier do. It doesn't make sense. Haribo Twisted Sour Snakes. And like, I don't say anything, obviously. Is she a boomer? She is older. I'm pretty sure she's like, yeah, she's old. She is older than I am, so I think she is a boomer. Like, I'm not sure how old she is, but she is definitely an older woman. Which makes it even more confusing, because, like, lady, you've been... Like, how long have you been going to grocery stores? Have you had those gummies? No. Yeah, it's like, how long have you been going to grocery stores, lady, and you never noticed how they actually do it? I absolutely do not understand it. I'm older than you, but I'm no boomer. Yeah, I think this woman might be boomer age. Well, I don't know. Hard to say. Maybe not boomer. She might be like early Gen X. I don't know. She's at least in her 50s. She is at least in her 50s. Anyway. I just want to complain about that, because it's just so confusing to me. Shall we get started? I'm waiting. Despite the complete blackness of the surroundings, it is rather comfortable in the large, silent room. At least I assume it's large, considering how it looked from the outside. Spring has just begun to turn to summer, so the weather is ideal. Not yet too hot, and few worries of being rained on. I don't have much else to appreciate in this moment. I'm still waiting, after all. Well, I'm always waiting. Today is simply a special kind. I'm waiting for something specific. Something very specific that I've waited a very long time for. But this must be the end of my waiting. In a few moments, it will all be over. Candle! The darkened space is illuminated by a single candle, and I know that they have finally arrived. Welcome, Buffalo Seer. I am pleased to be here. Thank you for granting me this request. Is this a new game? No. This game originally came out March of 2017. I should mention, so yeah, this game developed and released by GB Patch Games. The same people who made Our Life, for the record. These are the same developers who did Our Life. And, yeah, it came out March of 2017. Maybe she thinks he had two different kinds of onions at different prices. Says, thank you for granting me this request. Also, not at all a creepy mask, right? That mask, absolutely not creepy, right? Part of Buffalo Skin played by Cove. Buffalo Seer. The first time you're streaming it? Yes. This is the beginning, yes. This is my first time streaming it. I did actually play it when it first released. So I backed this game on Kickstarter. This is a game that I actually ended up backing on Kickstarter. And after it came out, I did play it for myself. This was, 2017, long before I ever had anything to do with YouTube. Like, it's possible I'd appeared on Chantel's channel a couple times before by this point, but yeah, so. But anyway. Totally normal, non-creepy mask. From the shadows, the three council members appear. Dog Healer. Antelope Reader. Bird Seer. This is totally not weird and creepy and does not cult-like. Totally normal stuff going on here. You have shown great diligence in your duties and respect for our order. That is kind of you to say. I tug on one of my sleeves out of nervousness. It has been quite some time since I have met with the council in person. Yes, because of your consistency, we are granting you your request. You now have permission to look into your own future. At that statement, I almost tore a hole into my cloak. I've actually done it. I am truly grateful. Remember, you must look a minimum of 3 years into your future, and the council will see whatever it is that you do. Do you accept? Of course. I have no fear of what is to come. Very well. You may begin. Ooh. Neat little effect on our little Buffalo Seer here. Neat little light show on her. All around me, the light begins to spread, looking like sunlight filtering through clear water. The light is mesmerizing, more sacred than ever, because for once, it is my own. Within the depths of the unknown, there is light, and you see. And now we get a choice. I forget which leads to which love interest. Any preferences? Knives? What looks like a little tea party in a garden? Or a romantic dinner? One, two, or three. Anybody have any preferences? Do you remember when you didn't pick the first time? So one or two. Vanna says one or two. I mean, it's been a long time. I don't remember which one I picked before. I suspect I probably did this one my first time. I think this is probably what I did my first time. I actually kind of want to do that. I think I actually want to do this one. I don't know. Knives and coins and all that. I don't know. That just... I preferred this one.
Don't worry. I'm glad.
As quickly as it appeared, the light fades, leaving me dumbstruck. I can't believe it. You all must have seen it as well. Have I made a mistake? Was that truly correct? The council appears once more before me, none of them speaking. Even without seeing their faces, I can tell from their stances that they are somewhat uncomfortable with what we saw here today. You know as well as I that false visions are an impossibility. What we saw today will someday come to be. What will you do now? It seems Antelope Reader also asks questions we all know the answer to. There's only one possibility for me now. With your permission, I wish to leave immediately. The three curtly nod in unison with no hesitation. It is likely for the best. We give you leave. Hey, Habibi. A carrier will be called to send you out of the walled sanctuary. Is there anywhere you wish to be taken specifically? Yes, to the capital city, Mier. A wise choice. It will be as you request. Dog Healer and Bird Seer fade into the darkness, leaving me alone with Antelope Reader. My mind is racing. It's too much. Buffalo Seer. With a start, I return to the present. You naked again? Good times, good times. Yes? The supplies you will need for your journey are being brought now. After that, you will be sent on your way. The cord is here? I understand. Good! Do not let your vision of the future blind you to present necessities. Many have gone astray and endured undue hardship through such negligence. The society of normals is not meant for us. You will not be welcome there. Remain cautious. Normals. Ooh. That feels very elitist, Antelope Reader. So, what, are you saying we're not normal? I mean, come on. What's not normal about wearing robes and animal masks, right? As far as I'm concerned, that's just a regular Friday night to me. It's just a regular weekend for me, you know? I'm not sure what to say, so I remain silent. After a moment, dog and bird reappear. The time has come. All is prepared.
Farewell, Buffalo Seer. You will be sorely missed.
I give them a slight bow to show my respect. Thank you for your assistance.
And thank you as well for your expected cooperation. None of us will speak of what occurred here.
It goes without saying.
Very well. Safe travels. And I do not expect to see you in this sanctuary again.
The tone on the last part of the statement makes it clear that it is a thinly veiled demand, rather than a simple statement. I can't keep the smile off my face. We are certainly agreed. Hey! Achievement, the future. I got an achievement, the future. You took the first step to the rest of your life. Oh, that's right. The first time I played this... Yeah, because I got this game on, like, both, like, itch and Steam. Like, I got both itch and Steam versions, so I never actually played the Steam version. Like, I never actually played it on Steam. I played it just, like I downloaded it onto my computer. Play, sort of offline. So I never actually played it. So yeah, I don't actually have any of the Steam achievements. Control list, sure. Sure. So this is Mier. It's smaller than I would have expected. I look around the town, unimpressed. The buildings are tall, yes, but also dirty and drab. Most are colored with soot from all their belching chimneys, and thin fingers of steam spew up everywhere. Do I still shower fully clothed? I do not shower fully clothed. It is basically the only time I get completely naked. It's also hotter, since the sun-baked stone of the street and metal of the buildings reflects the early summer rain. What was comfortable in the sanctuary is oppressive here. I get an unusually good look at everything because, even though it's the middle of the day, there is no one around. What is going on here? This can't be, well, normal. I laugh inwardly at my own commentary when off to my right, I hear footsteps coming from a nearby alley. There's something at least. I enter the alley, the cool shade giving me some relief. There, I see a well-dressed young man, holding a pair of small binoculars as if it were a treasured possession. I like big clocks. And you cannot lie. As I approach, I realize that he is incredibly tall. So tall that I have to look up to see his face. To not much surprise, he recoils a step from me, as if in fear. So I try to be friendly. He might aid my search after all. Afternoon, stranger. They got big hands. You know what they say about guys with big hands. Hello. Is there something you need? Yes, there is. I have no other reason to approach you. Yes. Well, I will do what I can, I suppose. There is someone I must find, and I'm at a bit of a loss here. You're looking for someone? His tone is deeply worried. Looking for someone seems like a perfectly reasonable request to me, though it might very well have to do with my appearance rather than the request. I'll make this as quick as possible, for both our sakes. That is what I said. I'm trying to find a young woman named Piper. He visibly relaxes when I say her name, even smiling slightly. Aha, oh, I see. Let me finish. She is somewhat shorter than myself, with gorgeous purple eyes and dark gray-brown skin. She may or may not have a few tattoos at this time. Have you seen her? I'm sorry to say, I've just arrived in the city myself, and really know no one. I wish I could be of more assistance. No matter. I'll find her eventually.
Of course.
Good luck, and I apologize again for not being of any help. They take only a few seconds. What is the most attractive hand type in your opinion? I don't know. I don't really pay that much attention to hands. I don't pay much attention to women's hands. I'm usually too busy staring at their tits. Yowie hands. Jazz hands! You like angel hands? I'm not worried over one stranger not having an answer. I've only just arrived, and she might not even be in this city. You don't know if she is in near. I wave his comment away. That is trivial. I will find her. Your certainty is admirable, but I wonder how you'll ever find her if you know so little. Haha, that is simple. I am not a normal like you, and in fact have an ability that assures me that I will find her. You're not normal. That gets his full attention. Not at all. My name is Buffalo Seer, and, as you might imagine, I can see the future. The man has no response. Perhaps he didn't understand me. Do you know what that means? I have seen my own future, and Piper is there waiting for me. So I will keep searching every city and every region until I find her. And then, once we do finally meet, we'll get married just like I saw, and it will be wonderful. Eyes wide, the man is utterly speechless. I sigh behind my mask. I shouldn't bother trying to get him to understand. In any case, I must be going. There's nothing here for me, it seems. I turn my back on him, ready to forget his existence, when suddenly he cries out. Wait a moment, please. What now? If what you say is true, could you possibly use your ability to show me my own future? Oh? Why do you want to know? I thought prevailing wisdom says looking into the future, especially your own, is a futile endeavor. Yes, I had heard that. He doesn't seem at all worried about the warnings. I'm not sure if he is less or more dense than I initially thought. Can't it be both? I shrug my shoulders hard enough so that it can be seen even with the large cloak over me. It's really no concern of mine. If you want to see your future, I'll show you. You will? I see no reason not to. Another chance to use my ability, and so soon. Coming here has improved my life already. I suppose I can forgive the heat.
In that case...
In that case, please show me. I have been quite anxious about it recently. Well, let us hope what you see doesn't give you an actual reason to be anxious. How far ahead would you like? I'm not sure how the whole process works. What would you suggest? I would advise looking at least 3 years into the future. That should do nicely. Will you show me what my future will be 3 years from today? As you wish. Stay completely still and I will begin. The man grows still and I reach out to him with my power. I have no reader to assess, so, unlike the council, I cannot see what he sees, only the light that emanates from him. After a few moments, the light fades and the young man is smiling broadly. I am unable to see the vision of someone else's future, but you should have been given a glimpse of what is to come for you. Is it everything you had hoped?
Incredible.
Holographic two-pack. Indeed, Vanna. Oh yes, it was more than I could have asked. You have my sincerest thanks. Do not simply thank me. Be grateful for every step that brought you here, as each one was just as crucial as what I did. I will be. Thank you so much. Farewell then, stranger. Hold on a moment. The young man fixes me with an earnest stare. He looks so serious that it is enough to make me stop my exit and listen to him for a second time. Let me begin showing gratitude with a warning. Right now is not a good time to be roaming about. The city is currently quite unsafe. Recently, a rather notorious criminal group attacked the city, causing no small stir. There is a strict order for only police officers to be out until the situation is under control once more. That is too bad. If Piper is inside somewhere, it will be much harder to find her. But wait, if only police are supposed to be outside, where are you here? Are you a police officer? The man grins sheepishly while slowly twisting the handle of those glasses in his hands. Actually, the attack I mentioned earlier was targeting the hotel where I was staying. I fled from there for my own safety. I'm not sure where to go now, so here I am. You should just find a police officer to help you. Well, he does look rich, so he'd probably be fine. That won't be necessary. In fact, thanks to you, I have no fear. There's no need to get the police involved. That's true. Since you have a future a few years from now, that means you will, at the very least, survive. But in that case, I best be going. I wouldn't want to see the police either, haha. With a nod, I turn to leave, mulling over what to do about the situation now.
My apologies.
I'm sorry, but one more thing. Dude! How many times do I have to say goodbye? What? It seems turning back around for this man has become something of a reflex. I need to stop doing that, or he might keep me in this alley for an eternity. If it wouldn't be too much trouble, could I come with you? Why? Well, it is dreadful being in this alley, and since we're both going to be out anyways, I would enjoy the company. Perhaps another set of eyes would be useful, and he seems harmless enough. I don't mind, as long as you're coming to help find Piper. I would be glad to help you meet your future spouse. Then off we go. Before we go, I should probably mention something else about those criminals. Jeez, dude! This dude just does not stop! There's always something else. He's always got one more thing. His grip on the glasses handle tightens as he turns his head to the side, no longer looking me in my mask holes. I am the one they're here to find, and they are likely still searching for me right now. Is that going to be a problem for you? He added some cheer to his voice, as though speaking of it in a casual manner will make it a casual question. Though, for someone in my situation, it is an irrelevant issue. If it's not a problem for you, it's not a problem for me. Can we go now? Yes, I'd like that. I could practically feel the tension releasing from his body as he spoke those words. Would being rejected truly have been that devastating? Did someone say mask holes? Never mind this man's quirks. I have work to do. Then we're going, sir.
Agreed.
Of course. Splendid. I must say, I'm truly glad to have run into you. Oh, and pardon my rudeness, I have yet to introduce myself. My name is... Duke January! We both turned to see another person hustling towards us. The young man turns to me once more. That is my name, January. That's fine. Who's shouting? A person charges into the alley, their face partially obscured by a red pit-fringed scarf, and much of their body covered in an old, worn-down coat. I feel I can relate to the stranger in a way. Is anyone here gay or just gay presenting? It depends on your character's gender. So, this game is a little different from a lot of others. The first choice that we made determined who our love interest is. And then whatever gender you choose for your character, that love interest will be attracted to them. The person addresses us sharply, focusing on January. What gender are we? I don't think we've chosen yet. I'm pretty sure we do get to choose at one point, but I don't know that we've chosen yet. Whoops. What are you doing out here on the street? Was there no officer watching you? The scarf individual weakly raises their hands to eye level with their palms up to the sky, like a desperate sinner pleading for forgiveness. And yes, this character here is non-binary. Who is in charge of handling this? I don't have an answer to your questions. The moment after being addressed, they shake off the odd, deprecating mood and turn to face the both of us, their stance implying authority. My name is Key, and I'm a police officer. Yes, Jordan? They display a badge quickly, then return it to their sleeve. What's this game about? As a future seer, you know exactly who you're going to spend the rest of your life with. Unfortunately, it seems convincing them on that matter might not be so simple. Come to enjoy the journey in this amusing, exciting, and touching visual novel. So it is a bit of an adventure. It's sort of largely an adventure story. Don't mind the getup. I've been undercover, so I'm in disguise. That'll have to wait since getting the Duke to the police station has got to take priority. I'm going to need you to come with me now. Actually, we don't want or need your help. January and I mutually agree that we don't like the police, and in any case are both perfectly safe. However, I do have a question for you. Officer Key gives me a glare and a feeble attempt to hide their confusion. What? First of all, you can't talk to me like that. I'm in charge here and I do the question asking, understand? And second, why are you dressed like someone from the sanctuary? That's illegal. Is it a metaphor? Probably. I'm surprised you even recognize my outfit for what it is. I thought normals didn't know what these clothes meant. As a police officer, I have to know the difference so I can arrest people who try to impersonate those from the sanctuary. People like you, right now. We don't like the police, ACAB? Indeed. Fuck the police. Oh, I'm no fake, I assure you. I am a future seer, and have been led by my vision here. That's what I want to ask you about. If you're really from the walled sanctuary, shouldn't you be more cautious? That's still illegal. It's forbidden for an abnormal to live among normals. No exceptions. You gonna tell me a true abnormal doesn't know that? Of course I know. But I just told you I've seen the future. I have nothing to worry about. Key pulls the skin of their light gray cheeks downward with her fingers, as far as it can go, making a truly awful-looking face. Of all the things, I can't believe this is happening right now. We hate the police, and the police aren't too fond of us, apparently, clearly. We are just being a nuisance to this officer. And I don't mind. They remove their hands from their face, the skin snapping back into its normal position.
Future seeing. Why?
Ahem. If you're done with that, maybe you could answer my question. I'm trying to find someone. I'm sure a police officer would have better knowledge of the population. Why don't you just use your future-seeing power to find them? You're a real seer, aren't you? You shouldn't have questions about anything. I don't think they're taking this very seriously. This person is special. She's going to be my wife in the future, and I don't want to spoil the surprise of the relationship. Key shakes their head in disgust. I can't believe this is happening. Is that all you have to say? Never mind, both of you come with me. We can sort all this out once you're both safe. If you're so sure of your futures, that shouldn't be a problem, right?
What do you think?
No matter what, our futures are secure, and this is as good an option as another. There's no reason to fight this police officer. I suppose so. Lead on, then.
Good.
Good choice. January and I follow Key out of the alley and enter an area that appears to be full of businesses. Key moves briskly, with purposeful strides, forcing me to keep an uncomfortable pace. January, on the other hand, lopes along easily with his long legs. His pace is likely slower than his usual, in an attempt to remain behind Key. I instead choose to move a little closer to them as we walk. Could you answer my questions now, officer? I'll answer your questions when we get back to the police station, and not before. Keep an eye out for any sign of trouble now, that's more important. I don't know why you're so worried. I told you the future is set. For you, maybe. If you are a real seer, that is.
Listen.
But regardless, I want to get back into the undercover work as soon as I can. The fewer people who see me acting like a police officer, the better. Which card did we pick? I picked the middle one. What looked like some sort of tea party in a garden. Will I bring you some? Will I bring you some what, Uncle Buck? I begin to respond, but Key cuts me off. In fact, I don't want any more conversation about anything until we get back to the station. Less chance of being found out that way. And neither of you can say anything about my undercover work. January and I share an unimpressed glance. Why would we tell anyone about that? Unfortunately, I'm not allowed to ask right now. My bad, that was supposed to be a message. Fair enough. We reach an intersection and turn towards a plaza. Key, who was still in the lead, stops so abruptly I almost ran into them. They backpedal, and I can see concern in their eyes. We need to turn back now. Go. Move. I hear the urgency in their harsh whispering tone and choose to ignore it anyways. Broccoli cheddar soup. Ew. I push past and look into the plaza. 3 people are standing there, 2 grouped together facing the 3rd. Oh hey, look, it's our wife! Even from a distance, I can see that one of the people, a woman with greenish-blue hair, is holding a gun pointed at the 3rd. I focus on the 3rd person. It's another woman, and... Middle card is January. Nope, middle card is Piper. The first card, I believe the first card is Key, 2nd card is Piper, 3rd card is January, I think. I believe the one that looks like a sort of romantic dinner type of thing, I think that one's January. The one that's like a garden tea party is Piper, and then the one with the cards is Key. Those are the people who attacked my hotel. The one's after me! January's warning flies past me unheeded. I dash full speed into the plaza. That's the flavor of the day. I'd rather have chicken noodles since I'm still sick. Fair. Wait, where are you going? Can't you see she has a gun? She looks just like she did in my vision, albeit with a different hairstyle and outfit. But she even has that tattoo already. What tattoo? I don't see a tattoo. Oh, I guess on her wrist here. Tattoo on her wrist. Couldn't see it with this in the way. I move so quick that the two harassing Piper don't seem to notice me until I've already arrived. Finally united, I wrap both my arms tightly around one of hers. The adventurer! You found your very indifferent future spouse. I love that description. Your very indifferent future spouse. What? You're so beautiful when you're confused. Buffalo Seer is, has no chill. We have like negative chill. I say while nuzzling even closer. Indifferent? Yeah. Thank you? The horrid green-haired woman is decent enough to stop pointing her gun at us with that vile hand of hers.
Who is this?
Horrid lady.
Who is this?
I love that's what we decide to call her. Piper turns to me and stares with those lovely purple eyes at a loss for an answer. I am Piper's fiancé, almost, eventual. Is Buffalo just a man in a costume? Pantone announced the color of the year, and it's called Mocha Mousse, and looks like literal shit. Just fitting. It is, kinda. Like I said, just the complete opposite of chill. Literally just, like, 10 seconds. Less than 10 seconds. Like, we met this person less than 10 seconds ago, and we're already calling ourselves her fiancé. Is Buffalo just a man in a costume? I don't remember if we've actually chosen a gender. But yes, it's a person in wearing robes and an animal mask.
Oh, nice.
Congratulations. Well, thank you. You're not fully contemptible, I suppose. But don't you dare threaten Piper again. I can make no promises. Now, excuse us. We haven't the time for this. Bigger fish to fry. So long. The woman and her silent associate run down the opposite street from the way I came. Once they're out of sight, Piper pulls away from me, eyeing me critically. You know what? Green-haired lady's not so bad. She's like, oh, well, okay. Oh, and you're future engaged. Okay, you know what? I'll leave you alone. I'll leave you and your future fiance alone to get acquainted. You two kids have fun. Yeah. Once they're out of sight, Piper pulls away from me, eyeing me critically. So let's bring that question back, Who are you? In addition, why are you here? From the way you're dressed and what you've had to say, I must assume you're from the sanctuary. That's quite a distance from here. I never realized so many normals knew about those kinds of details. I like to be informed. Now answers, please. You see, I am from the sanctuary, and I've come here after seeing a vision of my own future in which you and I are married. I've been looking for you ever since I arrived. How I made it here is a mystery. You and I will be married? That's interesting. You know it's not really a good idea to look into your own future. Gives you all kinds of bad ideas. I know, but don't worry, I won't be looking again. Regardless, that isn't what matters now. What matters is that we're together, and we'll always be together.
Just you, me, and your friends.
What friends? Oh, it's those people again. How unfortunate that they didn't leave. Key looks at me with mingled concern and outrage. They're doing that unusual arm motion again, like when we first met. Except this time their hands are also shaking back and forth. Is Key doing this? Are the two of you alright? Are you mad? You could have been shot! You could have gotten someone else shot! So that was a real gun. I thought those were highly illegal here in Vespin. She doesn't really care about that. Hey, Elf. Key points at me emphatically. Before anything else, I need you to come with me. And no more of what just happened. We need to get you and the Duke to the police station right away. I'm not going anywhere without the woman I love. I swing my right arm out to the side to trying to feel her, never breaking eye-to-eye hole contact with Key, but my hand only finds air. She, sadly, seems to have taken a few steps away. I look in Piper's direction just in time to see her shrug nonchalantly.
Regardless.
The police station is probably the safest place in the whole city right now, and I don't mind coming along. I can agree to that. I can do anything if Piper is with me.
Certainly.
Me as well. The first part, I mean. Not what I had in mind. Oh well, I guess I can't fight with future sight over there. Okay then, you three follow me. Key motions for us to start moving, and we all obey. I am very much looking forward to when Piper and I will have some real alone time. The walk through the police station was filled with the scent of smoke, sweat, and oil. Not a pleasant experience. I pace back and forth, trying to keep my mind occupied as I wait for my Piper to return to me. As of now, only January and myself are here. Piper and the police people are having a discussion elsewhere. I was given the privilege to remain alone with January in this room because he was insistent on it. Admittedly, I felt some relief when they chose to leave us here rather than at the actual holding cells we passed. I think this might be the captain's personal office. January appears nervous, though I can't imagine what he has to worry about in this situation. Some people can only think about themselves, I suppose. Buffalo Sierra also has no self-awareness. No chill, no self-awareness. There's no reason to be concerned, right? Things will be fine. He sounds like he's speaking more to himself than me, so I don't respond. The door to the room opens, and to my great joy, Piper walks in. I rush to her immediately, though I still give her some space. I missed you. She smiles a little at my words. I was only gone a few minutes, you know. I always miss being away from you.
That's good.
That's nice. But you really have more important things to worry about right now. Being with you is the only thing that matters to me. I know you must be excited, what with your vision and all, but try to stay serious. There is a pretty big incident going on, and you've become swept up in it. Yes, you're right. I'm amazed at how intelligent and level-headed you are. But can I at least ask you one more question before we change the subject? She hesitates, as if considering. Alright, go ahead. Will you marry me? She laughs softly again, with a small smile.
It's a little soon, don't you think?
Maybe another time. I frown in disappointment, glad my mask conceals the look. I knew it would take time, but I still want to be there already. That's fine. I'll just ask again another time. Soon, probably. That way we can get engaged the moment you're ready and waste no time. I suppose, though since you're already ready, maybe you should wait for me to ask. You would propose to me? I'd have to be the one to do it if you didn't. You have a point, and I think I quite like that idea. That's good. I won't ask ever again. Piper's smile curls just a bit more.
I'm glad.
Glad to hear it. Ooh, she just played us. She just played us like a fiddle, getting us to ease off. I mean that. So you're really going to propose to me someday? I'm sure I won't mind. Now that was your one question. Right. There is a brief pause as I try to think of what to say next. So, tell me about yourself. We don't have time for that. The police captain will be here any minute. We can keep it brief, just a few highlights. Piper shakes her head. Since we're going to be married, we'll have plenty of time later to talk. It's obvious she sees that perspective as an excuse, but I have to admit she's right, as always. Maybe later would be best. The silence is drawn out as we wait for the captain. We don't have to wait long, however, as the door opens once more. Thank you for your patience, Duke January. After consulting with Officer Key...
Thank you for your patience, Duke January. After consulting with Officer Key, we decided that you should remain here under police protection until the threat of capture is passed. We are also in the process of contacting the Walled Sanctuary to deal with you, Buffalo Seer.
January folds his arms and begins noticeably tapping his foot, making his disapproval of the captain's plan obvious even before beginning to speak.
I cannot agree.
I'm sorry to say, Captain, that I am far from thrilled to be kept here for such an extended period. I would much prefer to leave as soon as possible.
Be reasonable, Duke. We've thought this through and feel it's much safer than leaving.
Exactly. Right now, the bounty on your head is no small sum. Though we are searching, we have yet to confirm who placed the bounty. Until they are found or rescind the offer, the hunters will not stop trying to find you. We will do everything in our power to make sure the former happens, but until that time, you need to remain as inconspicuous as possible.
Piper raises a hand to get our attention and begins to speak. The captain's right about one thing. There's no bigger threat than Trinette. She is a highly successful bounty hunter with many followers and resources. However, Trinette obsesses over efficiency and getting things done as quickly as possible. That works in our favor.
So then.
All you have to do is stay secure long enough that the cost of finding you outweighs the possible reward. Once that happens, she'll give up the chase. Piper pauses and looks at each of us. In case you didn't realize, Trinette is that woman with the gun who was prowling around the city earlier today. My hand involuntarily goes up to where my mouth is covered by my mask. To think that my Piper was being threatened by that dreadful woman. I'll never forgive her, even if I know she wasn't going to shoot. Of course everyone already knew that, I'm sure. Key gives me a sidelong look, making it clear that comment was for me. I give it no heed. That Trinette is awful. The way you stood up to her today, Piper, was truly inspiring. Not everyone could stare down a gun as you did. Piper shows no reaction to my comments, and before I can go on, someone else speaks up. Excuse me, but how long do you think I'd have to wait? A couple weeks, maybe a month if it's an amazing offer. A group can't go much longer than that without collecting a reward.
Oh,
From the tone of his voice, it's clear that it is much longer than he was hoping for.
Come on.
Come on now, you can tolerate being here for a few weeks. Well, as you all saw, staying in a populated area is no deterrent for Trinette, even the capital. Since that's the case, and most of your officers are tied up looking for the one who made the bounty, I don't think it's entirely unreasonable if January stayed elsewhere, as long as it's secure. I'm pleased to hear you suggest that. In that case, I would prefer to go back home. It is certainly well protected. Key shakes their head. Isn't the house you're talking about on the surface? You'll be nothing but a sitting duck down there. I didn't realize your house was off the land fraction. It was off the land fraction, Duke. I side with Key on this one. If any group knew you went there, it's unlikely you'd complete the trip.
Clearly, that is not an option. I repeat my offer of police protection. If the station is not suited to your liking, we can arrange other accommodations nearby.
Janeway looks hardly satisfied with that alternative. I can't blame him. A life surrounded by police would be unpleasant indeed. Indeed it would. No one wants a life surrounded by the police. Very well. If we cannot go to my home on the surface, my family owns another property that is also quite secure.
Where is that?
It is on the other side of the land fraction. The three consider a moment, with Key and Piper both nodding. That would be less obvious than going to your main home on the surface. And at least on the land fraction there are ways to keep it a sight. True, I would say that is the better option of the two. I'm glad you all agree. I would like to go there then. I don't wish to be a burden to the police any longer, and frankly am hardly worried about the bounty hunters myself. The disruption they cause is far more grievous.
It is the job of the police to take care of the citizenry, so you need never mind inconveniencing us. I would much prefer you remain here.
I won't.
I'm sorry, but I would prefer to leave. Yes, I did already. Hey, Color Purple. I did my goshis, so I picked up some chicken from the hot food counter. As much as I have appreciated your assistance, you cannot rightly compel me to remain. If I wish to leave, that is my decision. The captain grumbles, looking a bit put out.
I can't disagree, loath as I am to admit it. At least give me some peace of mind by taking some kind of escort with you. I can quickly round up what officers are available, and they will be happy to accompany you.
Excuse me, sir, but I don't think that would be such a good idea.
What do you mean?
A large group might offer the semblance of security, but it's also much easier to find. Because Trinette is armed, avoiding fights in the first place should be the priority. Not to mention that to cross the land fraction, one has to go through some narrow and unstable places. What other groceries do you even get? Yep. Pop shop. Chips. Viva Puffs. No, I still get Swedish berries. I do still get Swedish berries. Some cheese. I do get a block of cheese. I like to have a block of cheese. Some cocaine and hookers. Google's Viva Puff. Yeah, I'm not sure what the US equivalent. That is the only chocolate I do eat chocolate. I was saying yesterday that I don't really eat chocolate, but no, Viva Puffs are chocolate. They've got like a chocolate shell and like a marshmallow center, and then I get the raspberry one, so they've got like a little bit of raspberry in the middle. Jelly cream pie. Sort of. It's got like some raspberry jelly, marshmallow, and chocolate shell. So yeah, full thing. I get some Pop Shop soda, some salt and vinegar chips, couple onions, couple green peppers, like a moon pie, I guess, but smaller. They're smaller than moon pies, I think. They have cream, not marshmallow. No, for some reason I thought it was marshmallow. Rice when I need it. I don't need rice this week. I've still got plenty of rice left, so I didn't pick up rice this week. Some sweet and sour sauce to put on my rice. Brick of cheese. Viva Puffs, Swedish berries, pistachios. And then other things as needed. Peanut M&Ms. Yours are marshmallow? I don't know if we have an exact equivalent. Yeah, I'm pretty sure mine are, I'm pretty sure the Viva Puffs are marshmallow. So yeah, these are Viva Puffs. So they're not very big. Like, I'm not sure how a... I'm not sure how... What chips do you get? They're the no-name brand. I want one. They are good. Viva Puffs are good. Viva Puffs sound like Kleenex. Yeah, you get no-name brand chips. Setting up a P.O. box.
Regardless.
A large group will be more hindrance than help there. In my opinion, the Duke's best chance is to go with a small group and finish the trip as quickly as possible. She has a point, Captain. Besides, you need more help here to track down the ones who placed the bounty. No matter the number of hunters, if the bounty disappears, they'll have much less of a reason to keep the Duke even if they get a hold of him. Can I send you Viva Poofs? Piper nods in agreement. If you'd like to do more, perhaps you could create a distraction here in the city, giving us a chance to slip out without being noticed. Such as some kind of false escort party going in the opposite direction from us. Then have the Duke take a few people and rush to his house as fast as he can.
Yes, that's sound thinking. We'll do everything on our end to make as appealing a target as possible. Now, since the group is aiming to be low profile, I will assign Officer Key to join you. They're here on an undercover assignment anyway, so no citizen will recognize them as a police officer.
All right.
I understand. Who else will be assigned? It's not much trouble, so I'd like to come. I know the area outside the city well and have the most experience with bounty hunters out of this bunch. January looked satisfied with the arrangement, smiling contentedly. Yes, us four should make a fine traveling party. Piper, Key, and the captain look at one another in confusion. You want only one more officer?
Certainly not.
Certainly not. One is enough, I think. I mean that Seer will be joining us. That makes 4. All of them stare at me with mixed emotions. For a moment, I'm unsure how to react. He wants me to come? Odd as it is, I appreciate the invitation. Piper is going, so it's not as though I could bring myself to stay behind. Yes, of course I'll be coming.
No, you will not! We are in the process of contacting the sanctuary, and I can't have you out of my sight until then.
Contacting them will do no good, Captain. You see, Seer is normal. Almost everyone shows obvious shock at this unexpected revelation. None more than me. Thankfully, my mask hides my expression. The only one who doesn't look surprised is Piper, who merely frowns in consternation.
What? Please explain yourself.
January gives me a quick look, then faces the captain. Seer is actually one of my bodyguards, sent by my family. They are dressed this way to serve as a more enticing target, since an abnormal is likewise a rare sight, and worth much to the sanctuary and others. We were separated during the initial attack, and Seer ran to try and draw attention away from me. Obviously, it worked.
So you see, since Seer is a personal protector, there should be no problem with them accompanying us.
Piper can't fully conceal her smirk, and has to place a hand over her mouth to stifle her laughter. Key's eyes show outrage. You're saying all that was an act? All eyes turn to me again, and I suddenly look to January, who scrupulously avoids my eye. With a concealed smile, I nod. The Duke is right. The ruse was somewhat complicated, but it did throw off suspicion, as you can all see. January nods back, looking pleased, which is nice, but infinitely more importantly, Piper seems to have no qualms with my response. She continues to observe with a smile on her face. The negativity emanating from Key is hard to ignore, however. So, running in front of a gun for the sake of a stranger was also part of the act? As a bodyguard, I feel compelled to help those in danger. Key dramatically slaps both their hands over their eyes. They begin to open their mouth to speak again when they get cut off by the captain.
Duke January, such a ruse is far from acceptable. Making the populace believe in abnormalism among us could cause widespread issues. You cannot allow your people to act in such a manner.
I do apologize, Captain, but considering the situation that the bounty hunter caused, I hardly consider Seer's disguise unwanted. I will make sure not to let it happen again. Key narrows her eyes at both January and me. I don't believe that for a second. The captain looks at them with a shrug.
It is rather unorthodox, but not impossible. It is better than the idea that an abnormal came all the way here to Nier.
Hey, Killface. What is this game about, please and thank you? We play Buffalo Seer. A seer who looked into the future and saw that we will be marrying this cute lady here. We're going to marry this pretty lady in the middle. We're going to be marrying the pretty lady in the middle there. So, before that can happen, adventure! We, along with the three of these people here, are going to be taking the tall drink of water on the far left, taking that tall drink of water, to a house he owns, his family owns. He's rich, and there's a bounty out for him. So bounty hunters are after the tall drink of water on the left there, the tall dude. Bounty hunters are after him. He doesn't really feel like spending weeks at a police station, surrounded by the police. He wants to leave and go home. Pussy is the best prize, so okay, yep. So yeah, tall dude is being hunted for some reason. He wants to go home, so the four of us are going to take him to a home his family owns, where he will hide out until the police figure out who put the bounty out. Keep calling him a tall drink of water. It's just it just feels right for him somehow. Am I wrong? Am I wrong in calling him that? It feels appropriate, right? Why does January sound like C-3PO? Right, yeah. Tall drink of water is January. Pretty lady is Piper. The hobo-looking Enby is Key. On the far right, the hobo-looking person, they are non-binary, and they are called Key. Nope. January is a dude. January is a guy. Piper is a woman. Key is non-binary. All three of them are potential love interests, depending on a choice you make at the very beginning. He got good hair. He do got good hair. The two lean in and begin to whisper. They must not realize my hearing is not so bad as these clothes would make it seem.
We can't openly accuse him of lying. Even if we're right, the chance of successfully making a case of it is small.
So just get them tested. A conclusive test will be strong enough defense. January, who must have overheard too, clears his throat loudly. Since the party has been not decided, I would like to leave first thing tomorrow morning. I trust that won't be a problem for you, Captain. I would rather not be delayed just for your unwarranted suspicions. If that doesn't satisfy you, Officer Key, you are welcome to stay behind.
There's no need for that, Duke. I'm sure Officer Key is more than willing to remain with the group. If you wish to leave tomorrow, that can be arranged.
Why are we a buffalo skin with a mask? Because we're abnormal.
Thank you, sir. Since the rest of Seer's things were left behind when we fled the hotel, they will remain just as they are until we get back to my house and can change. We don't really have time to get anything else.
The captain gives a heavy sigh but nods.
Very well. I can have rooms prepared for you and Seer to sleep here tonight, where you'll be safe until morning at least. Officer Key, why don't you return home and prepare? I recommend the same to you, Miss Piper. The two of you can rejoin us here at dawn tomorrow.
Thank you again for the offer, though I would like Seer to remain with me in the same room. January has a female name and a female physique. I mean, no. I don't think he has a female. He's got a slender physique. But he's a rich noble dude. He's a duke. He's rich nobility. He's slender. He doesn't need to... Yeah, he's never needed to do any sort of exercise, so...
Of course.
Key gives me one last leer before departing. Piper gives us a small wave. I feel warm inside whenever she gives me attention.
Sleep well.
I guess that would make one inherently feminine. Kinda, yeah. He is a guy, though. He is a very tall, pretty man. Very, very tall. I feel like that's his defining trait, if I'm honest. He tall. Sleep well, you two. Should be a busy day tomorrow. I wave back at her as she leaves, which she pretends not to notice. Probably a good idea now that I'm supposed to be January's bodyguard.
Please follow me to your room.
He nods cordially to January and me, then leaves. I'm now alone with the Duke, and all I want to do is ask why. Before I can finish another thought, January speaks to me in a low voice. I have no crush on him. I don't have a crush on him. I'm just willing to acknowledge that he is a pretty, pretty man.
I'm sure you might imagine, but just to be clear, if anyone tries to speak to you without my presence, do not allow it. Insist that you have nothing to say and cannot leave my side. I must also mention that there are many individuals in this building who could just happen to overhear what other people are saying. Because of that, we should refrain from conversation until tomorrow, lest there be any other misunderstandings. Agreed? Right. My question will have to wait, it seems. Tomorrow can't come soon enough. Now Piper and I will have the whole trip to be together. Excitement building, I followed January out of the room after the police captain. Blow him if asked? No! I would not.
With the morning on the rise, January and I are once more ushered into the captain's room from the day before. I can't say I enjoyed the police station's accommodations. However, in the grand scheme of things, it was only a minor inconvenience. As I try to stretch out the kinks that developed over the night, I notice January. His brow is furrowed and he appears nervous. I can even hear him whispering to himself.
It's going to be fine.
It's going to be fine. I'm going to make it through this. When I read it, it seems mean, but I mean it with love. Why does January wear a monocle and have theater glasses? Because he's rich. What's the point of being rich if you're not going to wear a monocle? That's my biggest fucking problem with Elon Musk right there. Richest man in the world doesn't wear a fucking monocle? Fuck off, Musk. Rich people used to have class. Billionaires, kill all billionaires because they don't wear monocles. Maybe it's a side ponytail throwing me off. Could be. And he does have very delicate features. But yeah. The greatest crime that billionaires commit is not a single goddamn one of them has the class or decency to wear a monocle. Why even bother being rich? Are you going to buy a monocle when you get your inheritance? No. No, I still won't be rich. I'm not going to have monocle wearing money. We used to be a society. What is that about, January? Ever heard us having another kid, I think? Going to sperm bunk under a bankroll. Ugh. It's just, things have not worked out as I could have expected, that's all. But I shouldn't be worried, right? Indeed. Well, it seems he answered his own question. Reading glasses money? Well, I don't actually need reading glasses. Colonel Clink is the only dude I ever seen wearing a monocle. I should hope so. Not many people could have as much confidence as you. Why are you always worrying so much anyway? January pauses and considers my question. I suppose it's simply a force of habit after all this time. I'm just very careful with my decisions. A light seems to come into his eyes, and he nods with great emphasis. I need to stop this. I am wasting your generosity and a great opportunity to do more with my life. Hogan's Heroes? Yep, I know, Hogan's Heroes. Never watched myself, but... It's a metaphor? Fair enough, Killface.
I will.
From now on, I will no longer allow hesitation to hinder me. Yes, I will be a participant for once.
I also never watched Hogan's Heroes. But I do remember that episode of The Simpsons where Colonel Clink showed Homer what his life would be like if he married Mindy. What an odd sentence. His little speech seemed directed more towards himself, making me merely an observer. I just shrug and leave him to his own epiphany, turning away and looking out a window on the back wall to see if I can spot Piper coming back. You were first. Excuse me, sir? There is no sign of Piper, so I reluctantly turn back to rejoin the conversation. What is it? Well, since you have been so helpful for me, I was wondering if you would like to stay at my house after all this is over. For a moment I am speechless over this bizarre offer. January quickly fills in the silence. I suppose I'd best elaborate, what with you knowing about my family's multiple properties now. I don't mean the safe house, the one Officer Key will be escorting us to. I mean my actual home, the one on the surface. There's a great deal of extra space. I'd rather not. There's nothing for me on the surface. Yes, that's true. There's not much there. But you can always consider that a place to stay if the need arises. It's really not a wise idea to invite a stranger to live in your house. I thought you were supposed to be a careful man. His eyes drift away from my mask and he smiles shyly. I'm trying to change. Just know the offer stands. I shrug again, turning once more to the window. Hopefully that will be the last time he calls me back into a conversation. Just then, the door opens and Piper and Officer Key enter. Piper is smiling pleasantly, but Key looks like a storm cloud has settled above their eyes. They glare at us, but ask not inhospitably if we slept well. It was serviceable. We appreciate having been allowed to stay for the night. January looks non-committal, but not quite succeeding in a smile. I managed. I don't say out loud how much I missed Piper, but try to imply it in my inflection, tilting my head towards her. Despite being the one who asked, Key shows no outward reaction to our answers. They clearly have no desire to be a part of this. Piper frowns. What a dour lot this group is today. Be sure to perk yourselves up soon, This is only the beginning. I must agree. I'm not seeing many productive attitudes in this room. January tries again to smile, while Key only rolls her eyes. I must go, peace be with you. Good night, Killface. Shrugging off the response from those two, I decide to move closer to Piper. She makes no move of acknowledging me, but doesn't move away either. She doesn't even look my way. At first I am a bit distressed, but then I remember that I am supposed to be January's bodyguard now. I can't blame her for not paying the situation much attention. Key then places her hands on their hips in that tritely authoritative stance, and begins to speak.
Now,
Since we'll be leaving soon, now's the time for me to explain the plan. Once we leave Mia, we will be following one of the major rivers that cuts through the land fraction. That will be the smoothest route for some distance. We'll push on until it starts to get dark, then look for a suitable place to stop, preferably with some covering. At first light, we'll resume the journey and, if all goes well, we should arrive at January's house by evening the second day. At latest, we will arrive early the next morning. As a minor spoiler alert, things will not go smoothly. Things will not go well. Key looks at us as if silently asking if we got the message. We all nod, and they continue. Once we leave the city, the police will send out their decoy, hopefully confusing the bounty hunters into thinking they have the Duke with them. Our ride is already prepared for us outside the city's limits, stocked with more than enough supplies to last us a trip. It was arranged away from the station to make it seem more like it was simply a normal traveler's. We'll be walking through the city using back alleys and side streets to be seen as little as possible. So far, so good? The Monopoly guy? I don't think he does have a monocle. Yeah. Mr. Monopoly does not actually have a monocle. It's one of those, everyone imagines him with a monocle, but he doesn't actually have one.
Which does feel wrong. Pringles guy did? The Pringles guy does, yes. No pocket watch either, actually. He's got the top hat. He's got a bow tie. He often has a cane. He doesn't. Oh, right, he doesn't have it. Yeah, the Pringles guy doesn't have a monocle. There's a lot of characters who feel like they should have monocles who don't. Like there's a lot of characters where it's like they should have a monocle. Why don't they have a monocle? Again, we all nod. At least you can all listen. That will be important during the trip. Now, Duke January and his bodyguard will be riding in a steam carriage. Piper will also join you. I will be riding in the front in a gadabout. Mr. Peanut does. Until we look and it turns out he doesn't. Yes, Mr. Peanut has a monocle. Mr. Peanut has a monocle. All those men are in the same family. Who? Mr. Monopoly, Mr. Pringles, and Mr. Peanut? Somebody has a monocle in the Monopoly game. Maybe it's on one of the cards. Yeah, I mean, it's possible that there's like a card who... Mr. Monopoly is the only character. It's possible one of the cards has him wearing a monocle. Maybe. I haven't played Monopoly in years. What a relief.
So,
Both vehicles have a radio that will let us communicate with each other, and back to the station as well. However, the range is limited, so once we reach the ruins of about the middle of the land fraction, we'll be too far to reach back here to Mia. Hopefully by that point it won't matter. Not the best equipment for the city police. I used to have radios in my travelers that could reach all the way to the surface and still work. Well, most of our good radios are being used for other duties. Those are simply the radios that are attached to those vehicles, and they will be plenty good enough for a 2-day trip. My childhood is being ruined. I know, right? Mandela effect. It's the Mandela effect. Yeah, everybody thinking that Mr. Monopoly wears a monocle, that is like the biggest example of the Mandela effect. That and the Berenstain Bears. Piper shrugs.
Don't worry about it.
I don't mind. I was just saying.
Yeah, it is just a peach that you're so technology savvy. You're driving. That's just fine with me. I'd be happy to, in fact. That's what it's called. Right, but like the Berenstain Bears, everybody misspells it. Everybody misremembers how it's spelled. Good. As for you, Seer, I want you to keep an eye out the back of the carriage for any trouble, and do your best to take care of your boss. Of course. And, Duke, the only thing I need you to do is stay low and out of sight as much as possible. The less you're seen, the better. January actually frowns at this task. That is all there is for me to do. Key laughs and shakes their head. Trust me, at Target, not getting seen by bounty hunters is the biggest job for any of us. Biggest job of any of us. Especially for someone as tall as you are. True. January perks up a bit at the reassurance. And that's it for the briefing. Well, the morning is wasting away. We better get a move on. I couldn't think of the Mandela effect. In a short time, we enter an alleyway behind the police station and start making our way out of the city. Key takes the lead, naturally, with Piper, January, and myself behind. I make sure that I am closest to Piper, positioning myself beside her. I keep wanting to get closer and hold her arm, the way a couple ought to. Yet each time I move a little closer, I have to pull back. I don't think Piper would approve if I attempted it. It is then that Piper looks back at me with a friendly expression. Is something wrong? No, of course not. I see. Is that why you're walking ahead? What?
You're leaving your charge behind.
She tilts her head in the direction of January, who is the furthest away from the group at this point. Even if nothing is wrong right now, don't you think it'd be better to stay close just in case? She's right. Begrudgingly, I move a little further back. Piper holds her smirk as she turns forward once more and follows Key onward. It doesn't take long for us to cross the bridge to the larger land fraction and reach the very end of Nier. I note that the city is as empty as ever. However, in this case it can be explained by the early hour. I look over the shockingly low railing. It seems a long way down. I feel compelled to drop something off the side. It's a weird urge, right? Like, you come to the edge of something and you're like, man, I want to drop something. It's a very strange urge that is just entirely human. It's just entirely instinctive. Maybe that's why cats are always knocking things off tables? After that thought, it also occurs to me that down there is where January lives. I can't imagine what the surface has to offer that the land fraction cannot. Key calls me back to attention. They wordlessly direct me to the other side of the road. There, the two vehicles mentioned earlier are set waiting for us. They both seem decent enough.
Hey.
Again shaking me out of my thoughts, Key begins to strike up a conversation. Strange. So, Oxseer, tell me. It's Buffalo Seer. What? My name is Buffalo Seer, not Oxseer. My insistence is immediate, though I regret it just as quickly. I can almost feel Key's smirk coming from beneath her scarf. Huh. I'm very sorry. I didn't know you'd be so touchy about me still using the correct fake name. No, I'm sorry. To your police station for having you employed. Ooh, burn. As a fellow undercover worker, you should know that dedication to your role is paramount to success. And before you say that I am no longer undercover, I am still in my disguise, so it simply comes naturally, as it should for you as well. To my surprise, Key actually looks a little impressed. They must not have expected me to stand my ground so strongly. Okay then, Buffalo Seer. Since that is just a disguise and you're not really from the Wall Sanctuary, how about we start calling you by your real name? As a fellow undercover worker, I know that I feel much better when I'm able to use my true name. I can't argue the point, and I'm forced to think of something. Type in a normal name. I don't have much choice, do I here? Like, I don't want to use it, but I think I probably... No, I'm not going to use that one. Yeah, not using Dave. What's a gender-neutral name? I suppose this is a fairly gender-neutral name. Yes, I know that feeling and agree. You may call me Jamie. That's fine. And are you really a they, or is that you acting like you're from the Sanctuary again? And now we can choose our pronouns. Pat or Sam? Yeah, too late. I already chose Jamie. I chose Jamie because it's the same, because that's the name that was used in Our Life. Because it's the same developer as Our Life, I just sort of felt like going back to that. Anyway. I'm inclined towards female pronouns. I'm a she, actually. Alright, got it. It's settled then. I'll inform the others. You mean you'll inform Piper? Of course, January already knows. Of course. Hey, maybe I should ask him right now what your name is. He could tell me that, right? He could, but he won't. There is a strict rule that says he is forbidden from calling me by my real name while I am undercover, unless I specifically say it is okay. If you insist it be done immediately, I could go explain to him that it is acceptable to use my real name, Jamie, and then he will come over and do so. Forget it. Done. I'll be going to the carriage now. I looked towards Piper to see if she noticed that impressive recovery. As usual, she doesn't seem to pay any mind. Piper, January, and I all begin to head towards the carriage we will be riding in, when Key calls for us to wait another moment. We all gather together once more, waiting on Key. Can whatever you're about to say be done over radio? We don't want to attract attention. No, this will be quick.
You know.
Now, I'm sure you've all figured out how I feel about this situation. But I am going to do my best to put that aside. How good of you! I'm not finished. Then go on. Key takes a quick moment aside before continuing. Because we have something important to do here, I'm going to do something I'd rather not do, and make us a temporary task force. Interesting. How do we do that? One of you needs to hold out your hand, palm facing down, with your fingers straight out. That seems simple enough. I do as they described without hesitation. Key looks pleased they got a volunteer so easily. Their mood changes quite rapidly. Key then puts their hand over mine. Now you two put your hands atop ours, one over the other. Piper places her hand on top of the pile. January does nothing but look at each of us uncertainty. It's alright, Duke. You count as a member. Come on. January takes a few more moments to stare hard at the group of hands. Finally, he places his hand tentatively on top.
Good.
Good. Then, so long as we are together, we will each do whatever we can to ensure that Duke January arrives at his home safely. No matter the risks to ourselves, we will do everything we can to ensure the success of the mission. Do you all accept? In unison, we all say yes. Since we are all agreed, I declare the four of us to be part of a special temporary task force. And that's it. You can take your hands back now. Key has no talent for ending a speech. As we pull back, I look at them with a bit of interest. Go team! Yay! Go team! Woo! Put your hands together! Woo! Yeah! Does this mean I can arrest people now if they're a threat to completing our mission? No. If anyone needs arresting, you just tell me about it. Got that? That's disappointing. Key notices my slumping shoulders and includes an addendum to their last statement. Look, if you want to warn people that they could potentially be arrested if they don't stop getting in the way, that would probably be okay. It's kind of the same thing. Indeed, close enough for me. That's adorable. That's adorable. I want to arrest people. You can't arrest someone. Aw, you can threaten to arrest people. Close enough. I like this sense of power.
Moving on.
We best get in the carriage. No need to attract any more attention. I couldn't agree more. Being inconspicuous is very important. Yes. Yes, clearly being inconspicuous is key. We obviously know all about being inconspicuous. Just look how subtle we are. With our fucking animal mask. Piper gives me an indulgent smile, then leads January towards the carriage. Hold on a minute, Jamie. I slow down and quickly glance back at Piper. She is already entering the door of the carriage, with January in tow. How unfortunate. Key is beginning to remind me of January with the way they constantly call me back. Still, I head towards them, and once I am close enough, Key speaks in a low tone to me. For this mission to work, I'm going to operate under the assumption that the story you and January told us at the police station is true. But I want to give you one last chance to come clean and tell me the whole truth, if it just so happens to be different from that tale. Have you anything to say? I look at the carriage, then back at Key. I shrug. I intend to be a part of this mission. Is that all you have to say for yourself? Yes. With a heavy sigh, Key shakes their head. Fine, be that way. But don't think you're going to get away with it forever. Now hurry up and get to the carriage. We've wasted enough time as it is. Key turns their back on me and heads towards the gadabout. Glad to be free, I rush off to join Piper in the carriage. And this is a good place to stop. Especially because my throat is getting sore. All this talking. Not used to it. I think the last two games we played on here both had voice acting, right? Full voice acting. Hustlecat didn't, but... Yeah, that's right. Hustlecat was the last one we played. That one didn't have voice acting. But yeah. Yeah, it's a good place to end for tonight. Gargle with salt water. I'll gargle with your dad's salty jizz. Anyway. So yes, we have, we are about to begin the adventure. We have met the main cast. And next time we will begin the adventure. The adventure! And we'll see if we can get Piper to fall in love with us. We need to win over our future wife. So, good night, everybody.